Okay. So, Jackie, what's your question?
Yes, I had assumed that the thesis statement is to present the topic or to present a specific outline of what the writer is going to tell the reader. And so I'm expecting to find a kind of setting, time, place. And we thought that the second sentence in the essay we were analyzing was the thesis statement.
Okay, Jackie, where are you?
Everyone was snapping on a steamy summer day, and so
Page
it was
9.
yes.
Yes.
So we said that that was the thesis statement. And the last one, that is when he says that the doorbell rang and the life changed forever, it was the hook. Where we were looking for sentences.
All right.
Where the whole paragraph to be the hook.
Okay. The thing is like that, when we discuss thesis statements in academic writing, remember that we are talking about the position of the writer, okay? The writer's stance, the writer's point of view on a certain topic, and what he's going to tell us about that topic, okay? In this case, this is a narrative essay. We can consider that the whole paragraph is a hook, because we are giving a very vivid description of the situation, and then let's see, the proper hook, or the sentence that really catches our attention is, of course, the last one. But we can't consider that the last sentence is only the hook without the previous description and narration. Okay?
Okay.
So that is the difference between the hook and the thesis statement. In the thesis statement, you need to find the author's position, the author's stance, the author's point of view. Okay? Yes? And now, if you go to page 11, in that same story, that same essay, you're going to find how he goes back to the very first paragraph, because he says, the noise we made was enough to wake everyone in the house. Within minutes, my father, brothers, and sisters surrounded me in the living room and congratulated me on my accomplishment. That day, July the 13th, 2013, was the day that changed my life. It was the day that proved to me that if I worked hard enough at something, I would be rewarded. I would get rewarded. So this idea, I mean, even with the same lexis, using the same lexis as it was used in the hook at the beginning, the writer gives a closure to the story, right? Because it says, it was the day, no, sorry, was the day that changed my life, right? He, at the very beginning, he says, then the doorbell rang and my life changed forever. And then he says, July the 13th was the day that changed my life. You see how everything is, Emmy is coming here, how everything is like, it's a holistic piece of discourse, all right? You start with one idea and you finish with that idea. So as you can see, the introduction is very important, because generally, let's see, in general, 90% of the time, to write a good essay, we need to have a hook, right? And a thesis statement, if, let's see, if it is an opinion essay, or if it is an argumentative essay, or an expository essay, right? And in the middle, between the hook and the thesis statement, all the linking information. Then all that information that we expressed in the introduction should be developed in the body. And then the conclusion, remember, the conclusion should not include new information, right? The conclusion should summarize what you have already stated.
Yes.
Right? It's not the time when you are finishing your essay, it's not the time to include new information, new details, or, right? The thing is that the conclusion should round off. Tell me, Jackie.
So which is the thesis statement here?
Where?
Does anyone
know? In the narrative essay?
Yes.
We said that there is no thesis statement.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay? There is no
Yes.
thesis statement, right? There is, I mean, there is no place where the author is, I'm going to discuss the sociology of the mobile phone because it's a, you know, device that it's not only a piece of luxury, but such and such a thing, okay? Right? So here, but especially in this essay, right? Remember that we need to be flexible when we analyze the essay, right? Be flexible. What you need to know is that you might find a hook, you might find a thesis statement, you might find information that links these two elements, then you might find topic sentences, you might find, okay? Think about the might, all right? Now, the thing is this, a writer should have a reader in mind. Whenever we write, we need to pay attention to the audience. Who are we writing to? All right? So if we want to help the reader to understand what we want to say, what we want to express, so then we need to be clear and we need to follow certain steps, right? Especially because we are dealing people with academic writing. We are not dealing with creative writing, right? We are not dealing with we are not writing novels or short stories. Okay, we are dealing with essays and academic writing, which is different from writing stories or short or novels or poetry or whatever. Okay? Yes? Good.
Yes.
Questions? Any questions? No? Okay. All right. So shall we, or shall I explain to you what you have to do for next class?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Good. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Let me see where we are here. Just give me a sec. Oh my gosh, I lost the compression of the previous session. No, here it is. I'm sorry. I was just checking another issue and I thought I had lost the recording of the previous session. I guess that it's now copying it too. All right, so this is what we did for today, right? This idea of revisiting the essay and the different kinds of essays or whatever. So for next week, we are going to concentrate on a certain kind of essays that have to do with essays that explain concepts, all right? So there is an introduction.
Yes.
Because what we are going to see different kinds of, strategies, right, that are used to all types of explanatory writing. Explanatory writing, that means writings, wait, somebody's writing, I have started doing it. Okay, Jani, okay, good, Jani, right. The idea is that we are going to see how an expository essay, an essay that deals with concept defining, makes use of different strategies like how to define, how to classify, comparison and contrast, process, narration, illustration, and causal explanation to deal with a concept, okay? So
Yes.
what it has here, it says, a concept is a major idea or a principle. Every field of study has its concepts, right? Like physics
Yes.
has quantum theory, right? Geography has to do with, I don't know, space and I don't know, limits or whatever. Business management has corporate culture. So the question is, what is corporate culture? What is quantum theory? How do we define that concept? Okay? And we can write a whole essay, right? Trying to define a concept. Now, at the end of this unit, which is going to last several weeks, you are going to do this task, right? This is going to be your assignment. So I need you to start thinking which concept you are going to choose in order to define, right? So it says, choose a concept that interests you enough to study further. I want you to start thinking in something that you are really interested in, right? Write an essay explaining the concept. Consider carefully what your readers already know about the concept and how your essay can add to their knowledge. All right? So
Okay.
I'm giving you this at the very beginning of the unit. So you start thinking, right, of picking up ideas. We are going to deal with an essay that has to do with, as you can see, the very first one is about, it's called, Is Sex Really Necessary? The essay has nothing to do with sex, it has to do with biology, right?
Yes.
Then the idea is, and that's why we have here this image. The second essay has to do with rave culture, right? And that is popular culture. So what you know about this concept, right? The other has to do with dating, right? And relationships. So we are going to read several essays, right? For you to start analyzing the different strategies used to define a concept. At the end of the unit, you will have to write your essay, but you need to start preparing on a topic. What does really interest you, right? What are you interested in? For example, what can you tell me? I don't know. I guess that perhaps Gabi and Marianne, Mika might be interested in, I don't know, how to raise babies or how to cope with newborns. I don't know. Okay.
Yes.
Fer, I know that Fer is into music, right? So perhaps he's thinking about something about, I mean, a concept that has to do with music and singing and I don't know.
Yes.
Okay, so let's see if you can come up with a concept that it's really meaningful to you. Right? Yes?
Yes.
Good. Good. So please read this interaction in detail, right? Then what we are going to do is to work or focus on this essay that is called Is Sex Necessary? Right? And there are like two main focus. One is reading for meaning and the other is reading like a writer. So the very first thing that we are going to do is to read for meaning. So whenever you see these blue phrases, right? The blue phrases, you know that these are links, hyperlinks to the text. So if you click here, you are going to be directed. I don't know if you can see the change in screen. Yes, can you see the essay?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
is sex necessary? virgin birth and
Virgin birth.
opportunism in the garden, right?
Mhm.
This very first question might be a little bit misleading. So if you really wanted to read about sex, this is not it, right? So as you can see, it says birds do it, bees do it,
Yes.
right? And so goes the tune. So here you have the essay that we are going to analyze. It's about 130 lines. Now, what are the tasks? First of all, reading for meaning. It says write to create meanings for Kwamen's explanation and parthenogenesis, right?
Yes.
Parthenogenesis is the concept that he's going to try to define. Is something new for us or not? Do you know about parthenogenesis?
It has to do with reproduction, but without copulation or
Exactly.
something
Exactly.
like, yeah.
Okay, something
It's a type of reproduction.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Vero, you said something like that. So you have an idea, but this
Yeah.
essay is going to give you more details on what it is like, what it really means, parthenogenesis. Okay. Good. So what is it that we have to do? First of all, it says, begin by writing a few sentences briefly explaining parthenogenesis. Continue by writing about anything else in the selection or from your knowledge or experience that contributes to the understanding of parthenogenesis, right? That means you take a sheet of paper and you start writing, okay? Now, what if you're stuck? What if you're stuck? It says, if you cannot write at least a page, right? It's a page. Consider writing about the process of parthenogenesis in affects. Paragraph 5 and 8. The advantages of non-sexual as compared with sexual reproduction. The distinction between equilibrium and opportunistic species. How the theory of evolution helps explain parthenogenesis. Okay? So you are giving some clues here. What are we doing? We are brainstorming ideas. Do you remember process writing, right? That we discussed years before? Okay, here we are brainstorming ideas. We are trying to get the gist of the essay that we have read. We are reading for meaning. Do I really understand what the writer is telling me? So the idea is to write everything that I understand, at least a page. You don't have to hand this in. This is practice, okay? But you need to have, whatever you do it and have it by your side.
Yes.
When and if we get together face to face, I would like you to share this with me, okay? But this is going to be part of the process, and it's very, very important that you write as ideas come into your mind. Now, first of all, you write the ideas and then you try to make them clear, okay? What we are going to see is in next class when we get together, you can share these ideas with your companions. Now, mind you, this essay and the ones that we are going to read are not very simple essays, are not as easy as the ones that we have here, which are prepared for students. These are essays that appears in the New Yorker or the New York Times or the Washington Post, or these are true essays for native speakers of English, right? So we are at a level where we need to understand certain level of English, okay? So that's why it is important that you take your time and do this, okay?
Okay.
Yes, good. Then we follow, we continue. So this was reading for meaning. Now, the second part is reading like a writer, right? How is it that the writer is dealing with an essay that defines a concept? What strategies is he using? So this section has 4 subsections. Number 1, it says devising a readable plan, using appropriate explanatory strategies, integrating sources smoothly and engaging readers' interests, right? So once we read for meaning, now we are going to focus on how the writer devised a plan, which appropriate strategies, explanatory strategies he used. How is it that he integrated different sources from his or her investigation, her research into the essay? And then how is it that he engaged the reader, caught the reader's attention, okay? So as you can see, this part is divided into section 1, devising a readable plan, where you have a short explanation and then the task. Section 2, using appropriate explanatory strategies, a very brief explanation, task 2. Section 3, the same, that has to do with quoting and integrating materials from other sources, the task, and section 4 and the task. Now, as you can see, what I try to do, people, is to summarize the theory in very short paragraphs, right? Because the theory is kind of long, so I took the most important information and pasted here. The tasks are quite simple, right? Because the text is a little bit, I wouldn't say difficult, but it's a bit challenging.
Complicated.
No, no, it's challenging. It's a challenging
Okay.
text.
Yes, you're
So
right.
we do have a challenging text to read with kind of simple tasks. The tasks are, for example, underline the last sentence in paragraph 4, the first sentence in paragraph 5, the sentences in paragraph 9, and the first sentence in paragraph 10. Consider these key elements in the author's efforts to devise a readable plan. I mean, this idea of devising a readable plan means how he's going to organize the essay for the reader to understand it. So there we need to think about essay organization, okay? The
outline.
with the hook, with the thesis, the body, right?
Yes.
Then it says, make notes in the margin by these sentences about how they forecast, I mean, they anticipate, announce topic, make transitions, and offer brief summaries. Write several sentences explaining how the author makes use of forecasting elements. So here, I'm not asking you too much. I'm just asking you to say, okay, think about this, right? How is it that the writer is anticipating the reader what he's going to talk about? So they are in the margin, you write in the margin of the essay, I think this is a very good strategy because he's anticipating a statement, all right? Okay. Or he's making use of topic sentences to control the paragraph, okay? Everything that comes into your mind. Am I clear? Yes?
Yes, of course.
Good. And then the other section has to do with the explanatory strategies. What are the explanatory strategies that can be used in these type of essays? Okay, defining, classifying, comparing and contrasting, narrating, illustrating, reporting, right? So the task, review the use of these explanatory strategies, select one and analyze it. How you're going to analyze it? By making notes and writing sentences. The same with section 3, right? That has to do, section 3 has to do with how the writer integrates and includes everything that he has researched about this concept into the essay without committing plagiarism, right? Which is something that we need to take into account, right? How is it that I learned something about, I learned about a certain concept, I learned something about a certain concept, and how is it that I use other words? I make that ideas into, I make them my own and explain them with my own words, okay? Or I might choose to quote another author, right? And when I quote another author, we need to follow certain strategies, like the APA rules, okay? So here, this section is about this, and you have some directions here for you to follow. And then for section 4, has to do with how is it, I mean, the main idea here is how is it that the writer tries to engage or catch the reader's attention. And again, there are two directions. In all of them, what I'm telling you is, okay, focus on this, write 2 or 3 sentences, analyze, right? I'm not asking yet to write paragraphs or to pay attention to lots of grammar stuff or whatever, okay? Here we are trying to analyze the essay from the writer's point of view, okay? So first of all, read the essay, thinking about meaning, and then thinking about as a writer, okay?
Okay.
Yes, good. So when you finish with all this, it says, have your answers ready to be shared with the whole class. So next class or next meeting, which is going to be June the 5th, that's a Friday, June the 5th at 6 o'clock, we are going to do something similar to what we say when we started doing today, right? So you are going to get into groups with your answers and you are going to discuss. Again, I'm telling you, this is a challenging essay, okay? If we think about input is I+1, all right? Remember Krashen? By the way, people, Krashen is, we have a meeting with Krashen on Sunday, okay? He's going to be talking with Alistair Grant. Do you know that? I publish it somewhere. I don't know if I publish it in Facebook. Did I? No?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm so I don't know, burned out that I know that I published it somewhere, but there is going to be an interview with Stephen Krashen.
Yes, I have received an invitation.
Okay, all right, good. So remind me to publish it in Facebook, right? So you all have the opportunity of listening. So do you remember that Krashen was the one to discuss the natural approach, and within the natural approach there are 5 hypotheses. One of the hypotheses is the one of the comprehensible input, and by comprehensible input we means I+1, input plus 1. I mean, the input students receive should be one step beyond their level of comprehension, right? To make it challenging. Well, this is what I've done here.
Yes.
I found, right, a very challenging essay for you to analyze, okay? Work with a dictionary, work with a dictionary by your side. You have 15 days, right, to work with this. Yes, concentrate on that, on understanding the meaning and understanding how the writer organizes the information, okay, and the strategies he's using, okay? That would be all. So you have everything here, even the link for our next meeting.
Okay.
Good. So now, questions? No? All right. So you think that you would be able to cope with this? It's just one essay, right? And then the same thing, we are going to be doing this with 2 more essays, right? One that is on rave culture, that is very nice, and then the other is about dating and market women. The idea is that you read 3 or 4 essays that have to do with concept defining. So then at the end, next week, we are going to set a date for you to have an idea when you would have to hand in your essay, okay?
How many words?
Okay. How many words what?
Our essay.
Your essay?
Yes, more or less.
3,000.
3,000, yeah.
The one,
yes.
as much as we need.
I mean, you know what? You're
I
going
wouldn't
to
say it's an essay, it's kind of a paper.
No, it won't be a paper. It should be, I mean, there should be an introduction, at least 5 paragraphs, and a conclusion. Okay, at least
Okay.
5 paragraphs, right?
Okay.
So apart from analyzing these essays, start thinking on a concept that you would
That was
that you would really like to understand or tell people about. And think about what you really like doing, right?
okay.
Yes, you might think about teaching, but let's see, think about your hobbies, right? What you really like doing, right? For example, something that I love is practicing outdoor sports. So I might think about the concept of well-being, right? What well-being means. And I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud. But for example, one of the issues that bothered me during this lockdown is that the governments, all the governments and administrations in around the world was saying, oh, we are taking care of people's lives and whatever. Okay, but what about well-being? I mean, not being able to go out to practice sports when physical activity is as important as having a good diet and reading and okay.
Yes.
So the idea is that okay, so I would discuss, talked about, try to define what really means well-being. For example, I'm just giving you an example. Okay. Yes. So start thinking of something that you really like. I don't know, you may like fashion, right? Think about fashion, right? I know that some of you are into fashion. So, I mean, take that, right? And say, okay, what about fashion? It doesn't have to be a very, I mean, a serious and academic and scholarly concept, right? One of the essays that we are going to read is about dating, right? Finding your partner or whatever, I don't know. So it should be a very simple concept, but the most important thing is how you're going to define it. All right, so what we are going to learn, first of all, is to read these essays, analyze the essays, so then we are going to be able to write our own essay. Okay? Yes?
Okay.
Good. So this is all for today as regards, I mean, from my part. I don't know if you want to say, add anything else? No?
No, it's okay.
Okay. Did you all people receive my message yesterday? I wrote a message, right? Okay, right, because I really wanted, not Jackie, because I didn't have your, now I'm going to send it to you. I really wanted to know how you are coping with, especially my subjects, and then with the whole situation, right? Because apparently we are going to have a longer lockdown till the 7th of June.
Yes.
So it's, I mean,
It's going to be more than that.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Thoroughly.
And yeah, the thing is that for education, as regards education, I don't think that we are going to be together till December, right?
Yes, it's true.
Anna, do you know anything about midterms? Because in our WhatsApp, we are talking about it like, are we going to have midterms?
Forget
Is it said?
No, no, forget it.
And what about evaluation? I know that there are a lot of kind of evaluations, but different types of evaluating someone.
I tell you what, we have not received any directions, any instructions as regards evaluation, as regards midterms or tests or whatever. What I am doing and concentrating is on formative evaluation that has to be with the process. And I guess that summative assessment, right? There are formative assessment and summative assessment. Formative assessment is paying attention to the process. That's why I'm concentrating on the process, right? And then summative assessment, the exams, right? I guess that because our subject, our career, our field of studies, the norms do not allow for virtual exams. There are no laws for that. We need to have face-to-face exams. So for that, we are going to be in, I don't know, November, December, March, right?
Okay.
So if I were you, I wouldn't worry about evaluations, right? Perhaps what I can do, I mean, what I am going to pay attention to is, for example, on this essay that you are going to send me, right? But before that, I am going to pay attention to your work in these small groups, right? I mean, all the process, all your notes that you are writing now, I mean, everything is going to allow you to write a good essay at the end. Okay, so don't worry, people. Do not get anxious because of evaluations. Try to every week do something for every subject that you decided to attend, right? Just take 1 or 1 hour and a half for every subject. I know that it's very difficult being at home with the whole family, right? Today, I mean, I had planned to dedicate 2 hours for the 3 subjects that I have today, and I spent the whole afternoon dealing with this material only. So I know that I'm going to be till in the morning, right? I mean, late at night and the morning dealing with the rest of the subject. But that's it, right? We need to try to be organized. Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Any questions? Well, I guess that next meeting, which is going to be the 5th of June, we are going to have Mika's baby with us, right? Mika sent us a message, right? Whenever you have your baby. Do you know if it is a girl or a boy?
Yes, it's
A girl?
yeah.
Okay, a girl. Okay, so Gabi and Mika are bringing us girls. I mean, that is empowerment for the girls. More girls, right, all the time. Okay, people, if you do not have any questions or comments, right, we finished the meeting today, and I'll see you on the 5th. You know that there is a forum for questions, so you can write questions there. Okay? Yes?
Okay.
Yes.
Use a dictionary when you're reading the essay. Use a dictionary. Okay? You're going to learn lots of vocabulary. Okay? Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Bye bye, people. Take
Bye.
care.
Thank
Stay
you.
safe. Bye bye.
Bye.